I want to show you how you can modify the sales price list in Dynamics 365 Business Central. The sales price lists are relatively new, and there's some functionality in there that I think you should be using, and you probably may be using it already. One of the tricks, though, is how do I modify those sales price lists? I'm going to show you 3 ways to do it. We're going to take a look at the item card and the sales price on that card. We're going to create a couple sales price lists, and then we're going to modify those existing sales price lists. And then I want to show you a way that you can use Excel to make this job a little easier. So let's get started. This is the item card for one of the items in my inventory. On the item card, there's a sales price. There's a unit price right here. This is a standard price for this item. This relates back to older functionality, but it will also be used for pricing on current sales orders. If I go up to prices and discounts, look at sales prices, I can see all the current prices in the sales price list for this particular item. You can see I've got 3 different price lists. I've got a retail, a wholesale, and then I've got one that's a default price list. I'm going to use that in the demonstration today. But you can see based on the price list code, I've got different pricing here for this particular item. This is my complete item list right here. I've got the price, unit price right here. We just looked at that for the one item, but these are all my items. If I want to make changes to these prices on the item list, I can easily do that in Edit Excel. Go like this, Edit in Excel. This will open up Excel and give me the complete list in Excel. From here, I can make changes if I want to. I can delete items, I can add items, I can change individual fields. Here's a unit price field right here. This is the one that shows up on the item card. If I wanted to make a change here, all I need to do is type it in. For example, I could just type that in. And I can use any functionality in Excel to make those changes. Once I'm done with the changes, all I need to do is publish this back to Business Central. It's easy to do. I'll hit publish. And those changes have been published back into Business Central. So that's one way that you can change prices in Business Central. Let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at the sales price list. We've seen these before. Here's what I'm working on here. So this is a brand new one, and I'm going to call it special. Because what I want to do when you have a sales price list like this, there's a couple different levels that you can work on. You can work on all customers, or a specific customer, or a customer price group. Typically, I use the customer price group because I can take that group and I can assign it to one or more customers. If I do all customers, then I'm basically going to have one list that has the items on it. It'll be applied to all customers. And you may want to do that if you want to take the unit price from the item cards and move them over to the sales price list. And then the customer price group, this again is something, a value that I can apply to one or more customers. It gives you more control over segregating your pricing. If I use the customers, all customers, every customer will get the same price. So let's create a new price group here. And what I want to do is I'm going to copy the lines from an existing price group. I'm going to select the wholesale price group. And here I can add an adjustment factor. I can just take the price from the wholesale price list as is, or I can do a discount or move it up. I'll put a little discount in here. 95%, hit OK. So I'm going to look at that list, the wholesale list, bring in all those items, and adjust the price. A second way to adjust a sales price list is to create a new sales price list, or delete the items, the lines that are already in there, and then copy them over from another price list. You can also copy them over from the unit price in the item card by hitting Suggest Line Items. It'll go out there and look at the item cards. It'll pull all that information, including the unit price. So I've got this price list right here. Again, I can adjust this. I don't have to bring in all the items. I can just bring in the items I want. I can delete items if I don't want them in the price list. But one thing I don't have is the ability to edit this list in Excel. If I click on this, you'll see I can open in Excel, but I can't edit in Excel. Hopefully a time will come when Microsoft will put that functionality into this particular screen, but right now you can't do that. So the third way to make changes is I can export this into Excel and then copy and paste it into another sales price list. But let's stick with this price list here, because here I can edit these if I want to. I can just edit them, go along and edit them. I can add prices. I can delete lines as well. I can say this is going to be saved just like this. So I can actually change the pricing just here in the sales price list. So that's the second way to do it. I can create price lists from other price lists, from the unit price and the item cards, and then I can manually change those if I want to. So a third way is I can download the sales price list information from a sales price list into Excel. I can take that information, I can copy it, and then paste it back into another sales price list. Having it in Excel gives me the ability to use Excel functionality to really manage those prices the way that I want. It gives you a lot more flexibility. Once I've got that done, again, I can copy that information and paste it into the sales price list. So let's take a look at that. Let's delete these first. I'm going to keep this sales price list special. I'm going to delete all these items here. Okay, so this is now empty. So what I want to do is I'm going to go back to another price list. I'm going to export this to Excel. Again, I can't edit in Excel. I can only open it in Excel. So that's fine. I'm going to do that. So now I've got the price from the other price list in Excel. I can make changes here. I can use all the functionality in Excel to get the pricing exactly as I want it. If I don't want these lines, I'll just delete those lines because again, all I'm going to do is copy this information into a sales price list. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to copy these columns right here. Let's copy that. Let's go to the sales price list. Go to the special one here. I'm going to highlight this first line and then paste it in. And it was that easy. All these line items went into this new special sales price list. You can see all the lines here. Again, I can take this, I can adjust these manually if I want to, but I have a new separate sales price list. I did most of the changes in Excel, and then I just copy and pasted them into this field here. So let's take a look at how this works in a sales order. I'm going to activate this. So I'm going to create a new sales order for this customer here, a Datum Corporation. Let's look at that customer. Here's the customer card. On the customer card, if I scroll down, I can see I've got a customer price group listed here. If I don't have the customer price group here, the pricing is going to come off the all customers price list. If I don't have an all customers price list, it'll go back to the item card and get that price. So in my system, when it prices a sales order, it's going to look for a customer price group first. If it doesn't find that, it's going to go to an all customers price group. If it doesn't find that, it'll go back to the item card. So let's go back to the sales order. I'm going to select this item here. So it's pulling in the unit price here. What we can do is we can look at the price list, go to the line here, look at the functions, get prices. It's going to show exactly where it's getting that information. Here's a price list right here. There's a unit price. So what's nice about the sales price list functionality is it allows you to set up a number of different price lists, but also specify individual price lists for a group of customers or all customers. And then it will show you in sales order where that price is coming from. So in this demonstration, I showed you 3 ways that you can modify the sales price list in Business Central. You can change the prices on the item card and then push that into a sales price list. You can also create a new sales price list. And you can modify existing price lists by importing new items from either other price lists or from the item cards. And you can also manually make those changes. And you can also use Excel. Download the information from a sales price list that already exists, manipulate the pricing all you want to in Excel, and then copy and paste that back into a new sales price list, and then use that sales price. If you're ready to deploy Copilot in Microsoft 365, download our free guide with the link in our video description.